Here in the top right hand corner of Data C. Spawning as the Blue Zerg. Playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming makes a noise for time. Sorry, for Rogue. Yeah, already butchering the first introduction. Classic me. Here in the bottom left hand corner instead for KaiZ Gaming is the Red Terran player. Let's give it up for time. This time for real. As always in this Pro Series, first map is my choice and then it's losers pick from the players. And I've chosen Data C for a very non-peculiar reason. That being, Data C is arguably the most balanced out of those maps. Rush distance is 36 seconds, which is the absolute standard. It's very well defended on 4 bases. As you can see, ramps and ramps here next to this third. And here there's only one entrance, which is pretty tiny. And makes it a pretty decent map for Skyplay, especially for Protoss. Or even for Spire play with Mutas for the Zerg player. Since getting map control on the other side of the map, it's otherwise pretty difficult. You can consider this like a reverse Jagannatha, by it being wide rather than long and very easy to defend on 4 bases. But it's just conceptually, like, the maps are vastly different. Also, this map is much shorter than Jagannatha. It's just a very well-rounded map. It's not too long, it's not too short. It's not too defensive, it's not too aggressive. Map control in the mid-game relies on side blockers and rocks, breaking those down, and then the map starts to become very well balanced. It's just like 2000 atmospheres. It's a very well-rounded map. It's a very good thing to start it off here, since some of the other maps are not this well-rounded, they're much crazier. So we're gonna see what is going to happen early for Command Center on the side of time. And that plays the map perfectly. Of course, this is not an easy position to attack, so it makes a lot of sense for time to get into early for Command Center and then hold the high ground as best as he can. Matching his opponent bases, are really trying to play too aggressive, knowing that crit spread is going to be significantly easier than most maps out there to connect creep on the 4 bases. You can see Rogue already trying to take control of the watchtowers and spreading some overloads around. Time not going for Viking play on one of his preferred plays, and we've already seen this early third command center leading into Aliens, not into any fast Stargate kind of strategy. Second Rex, and actually a third one as well. This is starting to get interesting on the side of time. A 3-1-1 with the early third command center, trying to get some aggression going, get something on the map. He's probably gonna try to move out with tons of Marines in the early game, even without Medivacs. We've seen in latest ESL Cups some Terran players actually trying to go for pull the boys action with 3 racks and early third command center due to the nature of workers being highly replaceable and queens not being extremely good on defending against vast number of units. Losing one alien is not the best over here for time, but he's gonna recover from that. Rogue, perfect macro so far, he's gonna get to lair very fast. And this is the moment in the game in which we have to start to look out for Vespene geysers taken by the Zerg player. We don't see a Baneling nest being dropped down yet, so I do not really expect Rogue to try and go into Spire Tech anytime soon. The double Evo chamber could be an Hydra play with a Lurk attack rush into Hive. This is something we've seen with a 6-30 Infestation Pit into Hive and Lurker Den pretty much immediately. So as soon as Lair finishes, you try to get your Hydra Den and Infestation Pit as soon as possible. It does have its benefits, but sometimes it doesn't really work out that great. +1/+1 being taken by Rogue, of course, with a Baneling Nest being dropped down right now. The whole Hide Rush starts to become a little bit less possible. Both players playing really greedily and without really trying to get control of them up too much. Rogue not at a very high amount of workers, but he's dropping down a lot of tech, while Time is slowly getting a lot of workers himself with the early third command center, and now he's moving out with 2 full medivacs. Bit of a later Time, of course, but this is mostly to try and kill some creep, try to get control of the watchtower, maybe try to deny a Natchery or 2. You can see Rogue actually double expanding to ensure this doesn't hurt too bad. His Archery is gonna be cancelled, of course, but it is not going to be the biggest of deals. Such a condensation of crit teamers in this zone. We get completely cleaned out by Time, who's now trying to move into the main. Over here, there's a couple queens already ready to greet, and one of those medivacs is very bruised. He's not gonna go down by the skin of its teeth. But right now, I do feel like the whole of this platoon of Marines is going down, at least half of it. While over here on the left side, Time is moving out yet again with more and more Marines. The early third command center and the high focus on Rex is gonna hurt very badly over here. While Rogue is not even on Baneling speed tech, he's gonna drop down that Hydra Den. But with an armory being popped down, Time has those very well hidden Widow Mines. This guy gets spot forward with Baneling Nest being denied left and right. These are still slow Banelings over here in this choke point. It might still be deadly for Time, who moves immediately into the main to try and deal with as many queens as possible. Losing queens at this stage of the game does hurt quite a lot. One alien was trying to do stuff in the third base, but over here finally the Banelings and the lanes come in clutch and keep Time off of this main base high ground. +2/+2 being started by Rogue, who's now on Hydra tech. Still is low at Banelings. Oh my goodness, that was, oh my goodness. Widow Mines. Kind of hitting the best shots I could possibly got there. And Time keeping up with relentless aggression, killing so much creep. The creep spread out of Rogue was looking very much amazing in this mid-game. But Time has been doing such a good job at stopping it from becoming too much, especially over here on the right side where he's trying to move as much as he can. Finally, Rogue is retaking control of his own side of the map. Time has slowed down his aggression, not as relentless as he was before, still with a lot of medivacs moving out over here. But Time is, Rogue is getting +2/+2, as well as his opponent, to be honest. He's getting Groove Spines, Hydra range, Muscular Augments, soon to follow. But we're gonna try to get to Hive Tech and get Lurkers out to defend even better and advance to the later stages of the game on a much better position. And data see if I remember, yeah, here it is. The Rich Vespine Geyser base, and then, oh, these are not the golden bases. I do mistake with another map, which is I think Cosmic Sapphire. I don't remember. Or maybe it's Moonfall actually. Moonlands. I'm sorry. Moonfall is another thing. Time steaming forward over here on this screen, trying to slow down creep as much as possible. Still doing a pretty good job of it, but Rogue has not been touched in his economy throughout the game, and his deck is still pristine. Infestation Pit and Lurker Den incoming with a 10-minute dive soon to be a thing. Rogue is standing over here on the left side, kind of giving up the position on the right side. Maybe we'll try to even get control of this Rich Vespine Geyser. But for the time being, it doesn't really look like any of those two players is up to any decisive maneuvers. Time is trying to do as much as possible. Widow Mine's almost got a dream shot. Tons of Widow Mines being spread around by time, making traversal of the map very complicated for Rogue, who's now on very low amount of Banelings, but he's still gonna get so many good connections. In the end, the Overseers are enough for the Widow Mines to never drop a single shot. Over here, there's a Ghost Academy incoming, ready to counter those Lurkers before they even get online. First 7 Lurkers are in the production, but without a Hive, they will not take Seismic Spines. The Steam in this mineral line will get 6 drones killed. But will try its best at keeping these Medivacs as low health as possible, but they will still be alive. First few Lurkers are gonna pop out. Hive soon to be finished. It's Viper's time. And of course, it's also Lurker upgrades time, which is honestly the most important thing right now. Over here, another 5 Medivacs. We're trying to get something done. Not really managing to get through those rocks. Still unbroken by Rogue. Here it comes. Seismic Spines. Time still trying to get something happen with Medivacs spread around on the right side while his main forces are bunkered up over here on the left side. Moving en masse. One single Lurker on top of the watchtower. We keep control of it. Or it most likely will stop time from getting control of it. Medivac's not very high on energy, but it will boost into the main. There's one Spore Crawler, actually a lot of Spore Crawlers in position. Queens as well. Ooh, one of the Medivacs goes down, the other one is very bruised. The rest of the army of Rogue is trying to get something done over here. It comes a lift from Time, but Time is also steaming over here through the middle, getting quite the meat grinder next to 3 Lurkers. I will still get a pretty good fight over here though. Rogue biting back in full might, 23 and counting workers down. This was the decisive maneuver we were looking forward to. The Ghosts do not even have Cloak yet over here. A big fight is happening, but Time is left retreating with his tail between his legs. And now Rogue with a very big advantage in workers. Doesn't have the best army, but these Lurkers are moving forward. There's Overseers to spot these Widow Mines. The Lurkers are not really healthy. 2 of them are almost going to completely fall down immediately. Beautiful Baneling play, dropping down the bunker. But of course, the Ghosts are the real deal, killing those Lurkers immediately. Still 7 workers down, and Rogue is still hurting. Time in very bad positions. Rogue doesn't have a good army right now. I want to stress this a lot. He doesn't have a lot of Lurkers. He doesn't have good upgrades for those Lurkers yet. Because I don't think he has Tunneling Close yet. Yeah, not Tunneling Close, Adaptive Talents, sorry. Yeah, he doesn't have Adaptive Talents yet. So these Lurkers are a little bit too slow to get down aggressively. Without that upgrade, they're mostly a defensive unit. They kind of need Adaptive Talents to be used offensively in a proper way, but for now these lanes are more than making it up for Planetary Fortress will be repaired. Here comes a Nidus in the main. These kind of slipped past my mind. 2 Nidus actually, with double Nidus network. What's in the networks? What's in the networks? Oh, quite a lot of stuff with Lurkers popping out and ready to get on top of production, on top of mineral lines. Meanwhile over here on the right side, Rogue still trying to hurt Time on his economy. The economy of Time is completely butchered by this continuous aggressive play by Rogue. And now that Time is kept on his toes, losing 5 more workers and a couple of Ghosts. It does look like Rogue might get away, even with his army not being quite as strong as he wants it to. Adaptive Talents still not ready. 4 more Lurkers incoming and plus 2 missile attack being the most important thing out there. Oh, Widowmine shot! Oh my goodness. Yeah, this does hurt a lot. You may think, yeah, it's just Zerglings. But at this stage, you cannot really waste Larva like crazy. And you kind of need those lanes for defense. This is starting to become a low supply game. And Terran tend to be vastly superior to Zerg in those scenarios. Of course, Lurkers more than make up for it, especially on a map such as Data Sea, where you can play really defensively. But I would love Rogue to get Adaptive Talents and start playing a little bit more aggressively, maybe even with Lurker run-bys left and right. Over here on the right side, Time will drop these archery down before Rogue can get any value of it. And it's been like the 4th time that it's been denied. Lurkers are gonna burrow down next to these Nidus before it was sniped down by Time. The second Nidus is about to go up. Time drops down one scan and drops a lot of snipes on these Lurkers to get them down. More units already pop out of the Nidus, but over here a full surround by Rogue is gonna try to deal with the army of Time, and it does so in an amazing way. Lurkers still getting stuff done. Both of the worms will be killed in the end, but Rogue takes another positive fight for himself while keeping a much better income, both in Vespene and minerals, and still being somewhat not reliable, sorry, I meant whatever. Still being relevant on the map by still being aggressive, still finding spots in which Time cannot really easily defend. Finally, Time has something to deal with these Nidus. Nidus trying to go up, but of course both are gonna be denied. Rogue is gonna still find a spot where Time is not well defended. This planetary is most likely going down. This has been the 3rd time Rogue denies this base. Another Nidus is going down, this time exactly on top of production. 2 Liberators are getting there, ready to siege up. And these Nidus is probably not going up, but another Overseer is in this location. Snipes going on top of the Overseer. Overseer down. The Nidus though. The Nidus though. The Nidus is getting very close to completion, and it will indeed complete. Lurkers popping out. Scan being used immediately, ready to snipe those Lurkers down, but that's a meat grind if I ever seen one. So many Ghosts and Marines and Marauders being caught in a choke point, and Lurkers do not forgive. Those kind of mistakes are of course deadly to a Bioterran army, and the Lurkers are gonna kill so much stuff over here. Oh my goodness, they're still going at it. The army of Time is completely annihilated. Meanwhile, Link's getting into another mineral line. Time is bleeding badly from this. Rogue is getting adaptive talents at last. These Lurkers are going to be much more aggressive from now onwards. 11 SCVs down. The Lurkers still marching forward. There's a couple of Widow Mines stopping them from getting even more forward. But Rogue has completely expanded on his own side of the map, while Time fails to stand safe on just the 4 bases. While his production is constantly butchered by Rogue, who's now finding ways to even get good trades against the main army of Time, who's now feeling kind of compelled to get something done. Lots of snipes going on top of these Lurkers. Now that Ghosts do have Cloak, Overseers start to become very important. Losing all those Lurkers might come to bite Rogue in the back. Not gonna lie, not even a cancel, it's a straight up kill. And the army of Time is still looking better than one of Rogue. Rogue needs to be very careful around these armies steaming into another one of his bases. These might be very deadly for the Zer player. His army supply is now looking amazing. His larva, how is he looking actually? Not amazing as well, just 21. Doesn't have a lot of Banelings, doesn't have a lot of Lurkers. These might be very bad. Oh my god, a Widowmine shot might have just won the game to Time. Time needs to be careful himself. He doesn't have a lot of production, he doesn't have a lot of economy. His game is starting to become very much crazy with these Widow Mines still finding value for the Terran player. Time needs to keep half of his army back home to deal with the Nidus, and that's the worst thing happening right now for the Terran player. Otherwise, he could just claim victory, I feel. Nidus Worm will go down, and so will the Lurker. It was wreaking havoc at the 4th base of Time. Time still failing to get a good economy, but his army is so scary right now. I do feel like he doesn't really understand how strong he is in this moment. More and more networks going left and right, left and right, left and right. What a good expanse of resources for Rogue. Still finding value out of those worms, still keeping his dream alive. One of the best Nidus players on the planet, for sure. Another Nidus going down over here. You can see this small platoon of army of Time being constantly locked in the main base. Finally, Overseer goes down, and Time will definitely find a way to move out of his lone for once. But not before a couple of Lings get into business over here and force him out yet again. One Changeling will be getting another Nidus in the main base. But even this one will not go through. Rogue still having a lot of lanes over here on the right side. Station on top of the watchtower, which will be cleared. Last free missile attack for those lurkers. Only 9 of them on the field. 19 Hydras, which are not really the most useful units around, but as you can see, they can be very good at dealing with these Widowmines before they get anything going. Beautiful concave incoming, and these Banelings are getting so many SCVs. 37? That's the whole economy of time down in the blink of an eye. Time will try to hurt back over here on the top right. That's a lot of lings and drones in this location, which are going to be cleared. But here comes the Banelings. The Priest Bleed are amazing, but in the end, Banelings will still try to find some value. Time trying to hurt over here as well. Meanwhile, Rogue is moving forward. He's getting yet another base. He's leaving only the Lurkers in an aggressive position, while the Hydras are retreating, ready to hunt down those Medivacs. Time is severely supply blocked. These Widowmines are still getting value, but I do see Medivacs flying away. And I do see his economy being completely negated. One single SCV alive. And the income of Time is absolute nothingness. 2 Vipers incoming to play the slow game for Rogue if the need arises. But right now, Time can barely keep itself alive. He has a lot of army, but it doesn't have an economy whatsoever. These units are pretty much permanent. If he loses a single one of those, it's gonna be so complicated to replace it in any shape or form. Rogue is in a much more commanding position. He has a lot of Vespene gas. He's not able to spend though. This base is kind of important in this location. Lots of links of drones are there. The Lurkers will get a good burrow down. These overseers are ensuring a lot of vision, but there's so many ghosts, and Time will get the game. Oh my goodness. So again, we're looking at a pretty macro intensive map. High ground leading into your third over here with a choke point next to rocks, which cannot really be exploited by tanks. The distance is far too long. Rocks to block these entrance over here. And in this location, there's only one entrance with double choke points in 2 different locations. This location can be exploited by tanks, but it's very complicated to deal with long-range units, such as Queens, for example, if you lose your position over here. So in the end, another easily defensible 4-base map. We're looking at another macro map. And honestly, one of the prettiest. It has both the alien feeling of crystals, minerals, and these desertical feeling with endless amounts of sand. All of the maps in the new pool are incredibly pretty. Such a good job by the map makers. And guys, map makers are an important part of the community, so it's always a good time to thank them for the incredible work they put into making those new maps balanced and entertaining while being so easy on the eyes and so pretty to look at. Very good save by Rogue over there. Actually sneaking even a 29 drone with his Spore cancel trick. Not the most important thing, but it's always interesting to see how players actually make up for bad situations with the best possible outcomes. Third base Rogue already up. I'm curious to see if Time decides to go again for early for command center play, but seeing this starport prompts me to believe that is most likely not the case. We were still alive, still looking for stuff. Not much can happen in this stage with 1-1-1 against very standard clash opener on the side of Rogue. I've seen Time being kind of slow in his early game somewhat. Maybe it could be exploitable, but then he tends to boom out on 3 bases at an outstanding speed. Oh, wow, 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 wow. what do we have here? Single starport cruisers. I seriously doubt this is just for Liberator's range. Yeah, I do see like there's a lot of dead airspace, but it is much better exploited by battle cruisers than anything else. And I also see time saving quite a lot of resources as well. Lings will try to break down those rocks to ensure they can have some good surround locations to engage from, especially tanks being very obnoxious on the other side of those rocks if you don't break them. Your queens will try to keep the islands at bay. Islands will be pretty happy about these rocks being broken down, especially since the first battle cruiser is almost halfway through. Rogue is sending one overload in. There's not much in the way of anti-air to stop this overload from getting the full scout. Right now there's so much stuff going on in the base of time. So many things being produced. This overload will see this cruiser, but this could very well just be Banshees until now. Now Rogue knows. This is the fusion core, is expecting the cruiser, and is gonna react accordingly. There's already spore crawlers being spread around, double Evo chamber being popped down as well by Rogue, as well as a Baneling Nest and a Spire. We've seen him on 6 gas being taken right now with this 3. And with 6 Vespene Geysers taken, the Raptors can become a thing real quick. So can Mutas. Oh, the aliens get into this mineral line, and they will start burning down drones to crisp, while the cruiser on the other side is already burning down Sun Queens. No transfuse on those 2 lasses, and they will go down without ever putting up a fight. 4 drones, 2 queens. Queens are still in position, and there's not really an easy way to escape for this cruiser. Oh my goodness. He cannot find a spot. There's not enough dead airspace over here. Oh, this cruiser is trying to juggle around, but he's just gonna die, isn't he? Oh no, time. Finding it out the hard way that this map does not allow for a cruiser to stay behind natural Emperor base and sit until tactical jump cooldown is available again. What a sad moment for the Terran player. The Rogue trying to take control of the map now that the cruiser is no more and the aliens have been killed as well. Oh, these lanes are actually getting quite a lot of marines down, and Rogue will confirm there's no third yet up and running, with this third command center still being in the makings. Over here, a scan will soon be used to stop down the creep expanse of Rogue. There's quite a lot of lanes and aliens, marines and aliens in this location. But Banelings will get in position as one single tank, which will go down pretty much immediately. So many queens to stop these marines from getting too much damage. 3 drones will go down, but the Mutas are ready to chase down the Medivacs if time does overstay his welcome. Baneling speed is almost completed. Time needs to be careful. He moves out. He's just gonna wait for his first command center. Now Rogue is on 4 bases himself. He's gonna try to get the best economy possible. Creep spread looking amazing yet again. Rogue in these week games has been consistently incredibly good at taking the least amount of damage possible and still fighting back. His Spire play is nothing short of amazing. And even though he was eliminated from GSL, you can still easily say he's one of those scary players out there, one of those players you never want to face, and you can easily come back from this situation of disadvantage in the series. Can you do it right here, right now? Rogue is setting up a huge surround. The pre-splits from time are incredible. He's gonna move out in the right position, but one of the tanks is not sieged up, and there's quite the advantage in supply on the side of Rogue. These queens and banelings are doing such an amazing work and making these marines' life hell. Every single queen survives, and time will be left with basically only Medivacs in his army right now. Rogue doubling it up on the mutas. +1 flyer attack incoming as well, but you can see 20 more workers, 20 more supply in army, and the supply of time is also highly inflated by just the amount of medivacs. He's in a terrible spot right now. Rogue can easily exploit this position. But we've seen time recover from an impossible position in game 1 as well. Maybe he can do it again, taking a page out of the Book of Beyond, aka the Book of Comebacks. You can see Cosmic Sapphire being an asymmetrical map starting to matter now that Rogue is expanding towards this location, the rich Vespene Geyser being available, and the contested map being, the contested base, sorry, being taken by Rogue with these golden minerals ready to be mined from by 12 eager drones who can't wait to drop down 25 minerals in that hatchery instead of the usual 10. Usual 5, sorry. Moving with his mutas in the top right could be quite a vulnerable position. Time, of course, has not really taken control of the map in this side. Doesn't really have a lot of spotters in his main base as well, and that missile turret can not really do too much. There's no connecting missile turrets, meaning that all these add-ons are in very vulnerable spotters. Just as one single Tor, being very close to the SCVs, Rogue needs to be extra careful around it. It does feel like Rogue is overtaking the map, but he's missing on a pretty important timing in which he was immensely ahead. Over here though, he's starting to make a move. Oh no, these bayonets. Yeah, they will deny infantry weapons +2, but they could have done much more. Hive halfway through, the upgrades of time right now looking kind of terrible. Rogue with incredible crit spread is going to have basically pretty much perfect information. Crit spread is touching his fur base basically right now. By his, I mean time, of course. With the Hive being up, Vipers can accompany these mutas around, and that can become some dangerous spot for time. Of course, the mutas are still sharking around, still looking for stuff to kill. Cryptumers will be killed on top of that high ground. Rogue is trying to go for a move. These Banelings are rolling forward just to be immediately annihilated by Widow Mines. This is exactly how Rogue could throw the game, by the way. He has an insane income, but he cannot keep losing army for free. He's making Ultras, well, in the Ultra Cavern right now, which makes a lot of sense. I want to see Adrenaline Glands as well. The Banelings are rushing forward. This time, the engaged position looks plenty of good, and they will absolutely destroy any amount of Marines that time was putting into this fight. The Taurs are still alive though, so the mutas need to stay careful. 10 SCVs are going down, tanks are gonna stop the Lings from getting down those rocks. So many mutas sharking around, looking for damage. They need to be careful. Widow Mines and Taurs can be a very deadly combo. But Rogue is close to be maxed out again. He's getting tons of Banelings. And he's getting very good upgrades. +1 Carapace for his mutas to tank more of those Taurs shots. +3 melee and Adrenaline Glands to start wrecking through stuff at a speed of sound. Concussive Shells is going to be the natural counter to the Ultras before they even get online. But you can see on the map, time on 4 bases against the 7 from Rogue, which is basically all the maps on his own side of the map. All the bases. While I keep on saying maps, all the bases on his own side of the map. Bailin still rolling forward, still looking for something to deal damage to, but the Widow Mines will make short work of them. And honestly, Rogue is not working on a high amount of Bailin, so you cannot really sacrifice those just like that. His Vespene income is pretty high, especially with the rich Vespene guys are being taken right now. But you cannot really waste units. Especially since the Army of Time, again, is looking quite strong. Oh, Banelings, this time there's not being a single Baneling wasted in that engagement. The Army of Time basically melts. There's no more bio with this army. Just stores, tanks, and a couple Widow Mines. But this is not a mech army. The mutas are ready to shark around, look for the tanks. Time cannot leave Marine Station on top of the tanks. He doesn't have enough Marines, and every single unit he's sending as a reinforcement is being cut off by the mutas. Banelings will roll forward to try and kill as many left bio units as possible. More Banelings, another round, another roll forward, and another couple bio units dead. The mutas are ready to go for us to run. All the Widow Mine shots has been used. Adrenaline glands is popped off, and you can see the cracklings absolutely wrecking through the doors. The mutas, where are they? They need to be put into the fight. There's not a lot of Widow Mines with these. All of the doors besides one are down. And here it goes itself as well. Oh, it's been saved, but not for long. GG gets gold. Rogue gets the equalizer. Most short maps are very good for Terran. But Waterfall, honestly, one of the best Terran maps I've seen in a while. I can't wait to see how Terran players decide to play it out on here. They can be somewhat vulnerable to... I feel Skytos is a big vulnerability as well as Colossus. And to some extent, Muta play can also be very complicated to deal with. But in the end, if a Terran player can get control of these starting 4 bases, things can start to become rocky for their opponents. Of course, another big thing is if you decide to expand between here and here, the distance is incredibly big through this choke point, and here and here, like, don't even get me started. You have to go through low ground and high ground, and the distance is pretty much immense. Not a defensive map at all, reminding me of a kind of a hybrid between Cerulean Fall and Saber Forest, if you remember those 2 maps. You will see the Queen actually getting in a very good position to kill the Reaper, which will get her out on the other side. Lots of dead airspace as well. This is absolutely crazy amount of dead airspace. Not a lot behind the main though to work with. So that location can be exploited by mutas, maybe by trying to look for Nidus since the main base is big enough. But over here we see Time deciding to go for a free command center play rather early yet again. This time with a starport, not with a free Rex like in the first game. So 3 very different builds incoming from Time. Let's see how this plays off on 3 vastly different maps as well. A Marine Station to stop Rogue from getting good scouting information. You basically have to sacrifice the Overload if you want to get information in there, so Time doesn't really look like he's going for it. So Rogue doesn't look like he's going for it, but yeah, whatever. Quick spread, again, looking very good for Rogue. Time not really looking to stop it this early. With the third command center, the play is of course going to be Banshee. You cannot really afford much, and single powerful units that can be a threat are most of the times your biggest bet in these kind of plays. So if you see a starport and an early third command center, you can basically be almost certain it's going to be a Banshee. At least one Banshee. Time will be found out by the Overlord and decide to swoop starport into a reactor to start getting medivacs out, with 2 Rex being started to try and get those upgrades up and running as fast as possible. Gusty shells and combat shields are left while steam is halfway through. The Banshee is flying in between quite a lot of Overlords. We'll get a crit tumor and not much more before flying away, while Time is sending quite a lot of aliens over here in this mineral line, which are going to be found out by the Queens and will be running away. Basically unscathed. but without really doing quite too much damage. Creep spread has not been denied whatsoever by time so far. And Rogue yet again is doing quite a good job. The Banshee looking for a kill, will get one single drone and will fly away. But that's basically the extent of what it can do. You can see units lost actually getting one crit tumor on one drone. You can see, like in the units lost tab, this game has been not the most aggressive so far from either player. Stein going for the early fair command center, Rogue just playing it safe, not really trying to chase down these aliens. Sorry for the clicking sound, I just had to drop down a huge sneeze and I didn't want to deafen you by keeping my mic activated. Anyhow, aliens are getting into business over here on the left side. Dropping down a couple of crit tumors. That's again the extent of what Time can do. Gonna try to get on top of the balcony, but cannot really do too much. Creep spread is about to reach the other side of the balcony. Finally we see some more powerful platoon of units from Time getting into position to strike over here on the left side. And of course, getting control of these high ground can usually mean it's very complicated for the Zero to retake. You can see Rogue just deciding to suck this base completely while making a very good counterattack on the other side. Of course, this Banshee will not kill these lanes fast enough. In the end though, tanks are sieging up over here. There's two Spore Crawlers to stop these Medivacs from getting too much stuff in the main base before Rogue can react. Rogue doesn't have a very powerful army. He's gonna try to move on the low ground. Queens are on the high ground instead, and this might be a very deadly meat grinder for the Terran player, losing both the tanks and having to run away with his marines. In the end, Time will still be in a pretty decent spot without losing workers back home, and killing down one archer. He's gonna be pretty happy about the outcome of his first stabbing attack. Time moving on the right side. Rogue is being well aware of this movement and is being prepared to react to it. Not really dropping down a lot of Banelings. But they'll be too afraid of the Widowmine getting a big shot on his Ling army. And of course he will stay as safe as possible. These queens are in a bit of a pickle, but so are these marines, to be completely honest. And Widowmine doesn't get the dream shot we were expecting, and you see the Medivac just having to collect the units back up and fly away. Infestation Pit almost completed, as well as +2/+2 for Rogue. Ready to get into Hive Tech. With probably seem to be some Ultra Cavern and maybe just a Hydra Den and Lurker Den being popped on as well. See Groot Spines being reserved, not Hydra Den, sorry, Lurker Den and Ultra Cavern. Groot Spines being researched, Muscular Augments incoming as well. Wouldn't be too surprised to see a Lurker Den being popped on as soon as this Hive is halfway through. A little bit less than halfway through actually. 7 SCV will go down to a Baneling run by. Time will find itself a little bit behind in the economy so far. But his army is still pretty strong. Not really that much inflated by Medivacs. And of course, keeping control of this high ground can make it so very complicated to find a spot in which you can attack. Of course, shorter maps means the crit spread will be looking good even earlier. And crit spread from Rogue this series, my goodness, absolutely pristine. Very good job by Time, keeping it out of his zone, but of course, like, the spread is already touching his fur base, as it did in the second game. So it will leave with the knowledge that everything he does is gonna be under the watchful eyes of the Zerg player, who's now trying to get something happening over here on top of this planetary. Time was moving right in the perfect moment. Dropping down a scan on this left side to stop these crypt tumors from spotting every single movement he makes. Trying to shift his army in different locations. The pre-spread are good enough, but he doesn't really have to be too scared due to the control he has on the balcony. Setting up a surround over here is almost completely impossible for the Zerg player. Once you commit, like you can see right now, like just by these movements, Rogue knows there's not enough defense and he's gonna send part of his lanes immediately over here in the third base of Time, and he's gonna find no resistance. Very good play of the map from the side of Rogue, while Time is sending up a slow push on the left side, killing down so many crypt tumors and ready to get control of the high ground over here. That could be deadly, with more than half of the army of Rogue actually moving on the left side. Rogue is gonna try to work with less than half his army over here on the left side, with mostly Queens being in position. The Widow Mines will stop these buildings from ever getting good connection. So many buildings are about to be completed. Can they run away? Yes, they can. Almost all of them can. Another steam forward, though it might be super deadly for Time. Steaming in a choke point spelled the end of so many of those Marines. Rogue is looking for a surround, but he cannot really commit to it. Otherwise, Time can just collect his stuff, fly into the main, and drop every single Marine he has on top of the hive. Adrenaline Glands has been just now completed. Now these cracklings can make short work of everything they find on their way. And you can see the double surround from Rogue on his main base and on the low ground. The Liberators are going down, and these lanes do not forgive. The Palings get beautiful connections, and the Army of Time is no more. Medivacs collect as many units as possible and fly over here on the left side, but Rogue still on perfect crit spread, still on a strong army composition, killing even more than half the economy of Time by stopping what was one of the most important bases yet. And now with the Hydras pushing out the Medivacs on creep, you can easily retake control of the balcony, losing quite some units to a Widow Mine, but in the end, you can bite back on the top left and maybe find a way into the planetary of Time. Over here, the Overlord will scout what is going on. The balcony is, of course, the main point of contention for Time. He needs to keep control of it, otherwise, for Rogue, it's gonna be too easy to find a way in. Oh, you can see the links cracking through the bio army of Time. Banelings rolling through, and they're going on top of the SCVs. A double up from Rogue, and now he's in the lead. Three very different build orders, only one worked out in the end, and even that, it was quite the rocky run, to say the least. So inside and out, as I was saying before, very short rush distance, but again, much like a waterfall, has the low ground high ground array between natural, third and fourth. It is a hole being in the middle, this time well protected by rocks and a bridge being a choke point, while this base doesn't really have a balcony, but it has a very awkward position in which you can keep a tank over here, still being on the high ground, and shelling down at the Vespin Geyser. So this is a complicated base to hold. These rocks needs to be broken ASAP, and this ramp needs to be taken control of. If you do that, it tends to become a very easy base to defend. Same can be said on this other side, where only this choke point is stopping you from defending this base. So this is a much better expand position. But after that, the mid game, so many choke points, so complicated to traverse through this map. You need to be extra aware of your surroundings, otherwise you can make some very scary vision plays behind those pillars. And honestly, air units tend to become a very big thing. Especially against Zerg, who can hide banelings left and right. Or even lurkers behind the pillar. Or even tanks behind the pillars. Usual dance between Reaper and Lynx will be broken by the epiphany of the Queen. And again, this is the second time I see a Zerg player decide to take this base on the right side instead of the other. And I really can't see why. Like, this might look like an easier position to hold with just because it's a little bit closer. And there's a ramp over here that's easier to connect creep into than this one, since the base is a little bit farther away. But this choke point is so much easier to defend. There is still a pretty obnoxious tank spot here, another one over here. But this one is much worse. I don't know. I don't like, as a Zerg player, taking this base, and I do feel like this is not going to be the meta. I do feel like most Zerg players are going to take this other base instead. It's a much safer play, overall. And it's also a little bit further away from your opponent's natural, which is a good thing. Reavers and aliens will try to kill a Crypt Tumor, and they will manage to do so, making these queens very, very angry. Creep has been connected between natural and third though, so right now Time is gonna have a much harder time trying to juggle units around. Rogue will keep an overload over here, trying to see if everything tries to break down those rocks for a big push. That's not gonna happen anytime soon for Time, who's now getting a Liberator with a very standard 1-1-1 with a command center behind this. Not even getting the tech lab next to the starport. He's trying to get a Liberator out. Much like the Banshee, the Liberator serves the same purpose, trying to get damage with a single unit that can stay relevant if it stays alive throughout the game. Yeah, Rogue did see this, but it does look like Time will try to commit on top of the Overlord and get a kill. Liberators do not kill arid units as fast as Vikings, but yeah, this thing is gonna go down. And the Liberator will try to look for a spot in which to siege. Beautiful Spore Crawler, but still a lot of dead airspace you can walk through or fly through. You cannot fly through here, you need to go through here, but it's still far enough from the Spore Crawler for the Liberator to actually make a play. Cannot really make a play in the third, just like it is trying to do. So he will try to instead keep on committing on Overlords, which will try to fly to safety, especially with the Spore Crawler being close enough. They're halfway through, Time trying to get away with these aliens. Over here, the Liberator will not find a kill on these Overlords, retreating back to safety. 4 wrecks being popped down at the same time by Time. Interesting. Pretty interesting. Over here on the left, Rogue is gonna drop down his 4th base and try to drop down 1,000,000 Crypt Tumors at a time, trying to expand in this location. Aliens are gonna try to stop them, but there's not quite enough of them. Rocks are gonna be broken down by Rogue, who wants to have as much control as possible. Liberator is gonna stay relevant, but just sieging up over here on the right side. And I'm gonna intercept any drone who tries to drop down a 5th base over here before Rogue can even realize what is happening most of the times. Rogue will try to do the same with a single link, patrolling around, looking for move outs by Time, and he's gonna spot one right now with these Marines getting in position over here. Not much of an information, but still. Again, going into Units Lost Hub, not much has happened in these first 7 minutes. Both the players are really trying to get into the mid-game as strong as possible. It's not like they do not produce army. As you can see, Time is on a very healthy army supply amount. And Rogue is getting quite a lot of important tech with Baneling speed just about to be finished, as well as +1/+1. He still has a high amount of queens, still has quite a lot of Banelings and Lings. It's not like they completely forfeit army. They actually slow down their macro a little bit to get army out. They're still gonna be both above 70 workers, Rogue getting close to 80 actually, with his quick spread looking incredible. So he's the one who needs to be stopped. But it's not like Time doesn't have the army to do so. Time has a very powerful army right now. And it could actually make stuff happen before Rogue gets over control. I'm moving on the right side, dropping down his 4th base himself, while Rogue is expanding to a 5th one over here after clearing the Liberator. Crit Tumor is about to touch the intersection between natural 3rd and 4th of Time. Time doesn't want that to happen, so he's gonna move out with 2 Medivacs and a bunch of Marines to kill as many Crit Tumors as he can before retreating. Looks like gonna be broken down by Rogue over here, out of sight of Time. He's gonna try to work with the pillars and drop down his siege tanks behind us. Lots of Crit Tumors are gonna be killed in a very important interception, especially next to this bridge and this ramp. But Rogue will break down the rocks over here. We'll get some more Crit Tumors. We'll get some Lings try to hack down this wall, but will not manage to get through. While Time is basically funneling down the middle over here. This is such a complicated location to attack into for the Zerg player. You can see Banelings not really getting the connections that Rogue wanted to get, and the tanks making short work of whatever is left. So many Marines still alive. Beautiful play by Time, dancing around the pillar, and is now steaming in the choke point over here, looking to drop down the 4th base of Rogue. Banelings rolling forward, trying to get on top of the tanks, but it cannot really make past this bio army of Time. More Banelings being sent through. Very good focus fire by Time. Now the Queens are gonna be left standing between these Marines and victory, and they look like they're doing enough. The last tank is about to fall down. The Medivacs are not really healthy in energy, but so are the Queens, and another tank sieges up and drops down a shell on top of one of the Queen's reinforcements. Have joined for Time, but Rogue on 93 workers can easily replace his lost Lings, and is now gonna be on 22 and counting. +2/+2 completed for both the players. Now you can see a couple Lings being sacrificed to try and keep good track about what Time is doing. Not a lot of key units were killed for Rogue, so Time needs to stay on his toes, kill so much creep, but he's still nowhere close to dropping down a deadly push. Tanks are gonna siege behind pillars. Lots of Banelings are gonna be denied over here on the right side. The Banelings are not gonna drop down the mine. Not gonna be a surprise for Time, with the tanks shelling behind the side blockers, prompting these few Lings into retreat, and then killing the 5th archery from Rogue, who's now expanding on the top left. Time doing a much better job at constant aggression this time, and is about to take the high ground after killing 10 drones and an archery. Not a lot of Banelings in the army of Rogue. Now has a hive, ready to drop down a couple of ducks if he can. The Banelings are rolling forward. They will get quite a lot of good connections, but there's so much still going for Time. The Hydras will make short work of a couple of these Medivacs, but now the Liberators have joined the fray, and it's gonna become even more complicated for Rogue to push forward. These Hydras need to be turned into lurkers. He cannot easily sacrifice those. They're gonna be expensive, but you still need those to drop down the Liberators. He cannot really spare that many more Queens. Now Ducks can be used, so can Blinding Clouds, and you can see the Blinding Clouds being very good, but there's not enough Banelings to drop down the Marines. We might be looking at another equalizer. Banelings rolling forward, getting good connections, but not good enough. GGX goal! And Time takes game number 4. So I was saying, there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, Moondance, easily defensible. Fur base again with double ramp. And the other one with a choke point over here. Still being a little bit too far from the natural to call it an easily defensible base. Especially with the ramp being over here. Playing a little bit with vision. But still, one single entrance. Not that complicated to deal with. But most importantly, there's an 8 base, the 8 minerals, 1 Vespene Geyser pocket base. You cannot really substitute your third base with this one, because this is an off base. This is a 12 drones of minerals with only 8 patches, only 6 patches, sorry, and 1 single Vespene Geyser. This is a 15 drones base, drones, SUVs, probes, whatever base, compared to, for example, 22 workers base. So this is a little bit more than a half base, but with just 1 Vespene Geyser being available, we can consider this an off base. We're not gonna see many players take that as their third. They much rather establish some aggressive position. They much rather get their third up and running to get a stronger economy, instead of just hunkering down and get their pocket base, which is not gonna fruit them that much income anyway. Oh, the Reaper is playing with his lives a little bit too much. Again, early for command center for time. This time even before starport. Gonna see if it's gonna be a starport anyway. Could easily be a second Rex. I do feel like this is going to be a star. It's a second Rex. I was wrong. Could even be a third one. Just mimicking the build from the first game. Especially the tech lab being added next to this Rex. We could see Steam being researched quite early on. Teamer definitely not going to be denied. This is an early lair, by the way, on the side of road. Cannot really get a lair earlier than this. And Rogue is taking the half base over here. You take this base if you want to be aggressive, honestly, because otherwise you're just giving up on a much easier third base. Like, this is a immediate income, immediate advantage, immediate larva. These and these work on a bit better the longer the game goes. So 4 Vespene Geysers being taken by Rogue. A Spire is incoming out of 3 bases. You cannot even get 6 Vespene Geysers because you only have 1 over here. So this is most likely going to be a 5 Geysers Spire. And the Spire has been dropped down at 415. Like, this is the earliest possible Spire you can ever get. Like, unless you want to... Here it is. Unless you want to skip Metabolic Boost, which Rogue didn't. If you want to skip Metabolic Boost, yeah, be my guest. Get your 355 Spire or whatever. It'll be completely useless. Alright, Link's trying to get vision in the middle. Of course, with these many side blockers, it's gonna be complicated. I do like Spire play on this map, honestly. I do feel like 4 bases being this close together, like basically being on one single zoomed out screen, as you can see, one here, 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 and here. It means that Midas can fly around these bases and deal an outstanding amount of damage very quickly, without the Terran player being able to react too fast. So I do love these Spire play. But Rogue doesn't have much to defend right now. The Midas pop out right now, they will chase down the aliens before they can get any significant damage. 5 drones are going down in the end, but the rest of the lanes will chase things off with the Midas ready to chase down these Medivacs. Now time needs to react to this. This is not when he was expecting Mutas, and this is definitely not when he was expecting to lose 2 full medics. Oh, the medics are gonna try to unload everything down. The Mutas will not commit on top of the medics. Everything was unloaded in the end. The Mutas are still taking a big fight, and so are the Leans. The whole army of time is down. Rogue takes a swift victory, and I want to call this a cheese. This is a very cheesy victory by Rogue. With the earliest possible Mutas you can get. Very clean defense on his own side, with the Mutas popping out just when he needed them. But this is a super cheesy victory. So, Bucket Base with 2 mineral patches. This ramp is as narrow as your main base ramp. So you can block it off with 3 supply depots, with 2 gateways, with 2 Evo chambers, and so on. Still, the rush distance between those things is just a screen. There's a watchtower that gives you vision just up until this spot over here, so up to the Vespin Geyser, while the natural is on the same level as all of these ramps that are easily accessible on so many different positions. There's 6 total ramps you need to be aware if you want to take the natural and hold it dear. So most of the times you're gonna see Terran player just drop down a command center over here, mine those down, and expand in this location, but you're still gonna want the natural. Just for the sake of it being easy to defend in the early game, you don't want to skip on it. Much like on Stargazers. You're gonna take these, as you can see. Like, you're gonna take this base. As early as you can as well. So this can be a 3 base, even a 4 base map. Very easy to deal with, very easy to defend. There's a huge choke point over here you don't want to attack into. The other entrance is over here, so it's very complicated. The 4 base play, it's very safe. Then it gets super messy. This base is so complicated to deal with. You need to hold this ramp, but again, there's so many ramps. And then this base is almost completely impossible to defend, let's be honest. Again, sky units tend to be incredibly good. Rush distance is minimal. And there's no inhibition zones over here. And of course, same as before. You have all the 4 bases in one single zoomed out screen. Mutas, Void Rays, Phoenixes, you name it, you got it. So easy for them to get damage. No early for command center this time for time. Which is honestly quite weird on what is possibly the safest 3 base map we've had in quite a long time. No Reaper this time. For time, I know I have said this word a million times. Oh my god, I just said it again. Yeah, it's a trap. You cannot stay away from that word. Time likes to trick us casters with his name. Gonna try also to take quite some map control, at least. Get some scouting information. Aliens getting on top of the watchtower, waiting for this one medevac to fly into the quote-unquote third base of Rogue, which is not really that well defended at all. Third command center is incoming as well for time. With the watchtower being taken, he's gonna see that queen being in position to deal with his army, so he's just gonna try to instead drop down a scan, stop crit tumors from expanding in this location. Maybe try to get a queen or 2. This attack is looking much more deadly than it was in the previous game. One of the queens goes down immediately. Lings and drones are under serious threat. Metabolic boost is yet to be finished. Right now these Lings cannot really get a good surround. You can see the queens trying to fight back, but a few marines and a few aliens are still doing quite a good job. Dealing with so much of the army of Rogue. Is not like he dealt enough damage, to be honest. Right now, time is collecting his aliens and getting into the main. Metabolic boost is finished. And let's just take a look at the unit slots. Like, as you can see, like, this is not that far away. Yeah, getting one queen is good in the early stages. It's almost as good as losing as killing an archery. Because queens are super important for the inject. But Rogue has been very queen happy throughout these games, so he's not gonna find himself short of injects. As you can see, the queen is about to pop out right now to drop down inject immediately and even get into the fight. One element goes down immediately. Lair is up and running for Rogue. Well, as it's just been started, to be honest. As well as double Evo Chamber to drop down +1/+1 melee and Carapace. Over here, Time not really trying to take this base. He's a little bit too afraid of Spire play, so he's gonna play the standard game and instead go for the standard third base and try to hold the bridge and the rents. Two full medivacs ready to unload on the top left. The overlords are in position to scout any moving medivac, and they will do so, with the other medivac instead being on control of the watchtower alongside the aliens. Overlords will see those medivacs, the queens will be in position, the spore coolers will not be popped down yet. Marines trying to juggle in between these mineral wall. Lots of drones being pulled into the fight. It does look like Time is dealing quite a lot of damage. The queens are being focused right now, one after the other. The spore crawlers are down, but so many queens were out of position. 9 drones were killed in the effort to keep these queens alive. In the end, one full medivac escaped, but Time has dealt so much damage in this early game, and he's ahead in workers, he's not ahead in bases, with Rogue dropping down a 4th one over here. The Spire is about to be up, and Rogue will need every single drone he can spare. It's looking like Time wants to make another swift maneuver, wants to get another big attack. Rogue will try to go for a counter with his Lings instead. Command center might be denied. This is in fact going to be denied. Big delay. Not the biggest of things, but Rogue found a way to keep his opponent honest. To keep him on his tracks a little bit. Time with a scan in the main, looking for tech. The Spire is instead in the 3rd. It's about to be completed, as well as +1/+1. Time will look to strike forward. We'll need to push through side blockers. Of course, with Sky units, not gonna be too afraid of moving forward. So much creep has been killed in these games by Time, but still Rogue was able to drop down even more. +1/+1 Zerglings are a big threat, but a bigger threat are the 12 mutas. They're about to be finished. Time with a good call not to take this base, otherwise mutas would have had such a free time dealing damage. It's not looking like Time can find an easy way in. The scan finds out the mutas. A little bit of a lucky one, to be honest. Where Rogue didn't really move his mutas properly. Now he's looking to move out. Quite a powerful army, doesn't really have Banelings in it though. Time has quite a lot of Widow Mines and tanks. But it's not like those Lings can just get through easily. Does need to be careful as well, moving around these few Marines stationed left and right. While Time is about to take a 4th base himself. Over here the Mutas will take not the best fight they can. Infestation Pit incoming. This game looks like it was like a 6-minute game, instead we've been going through for 10 minutes. So much weird shenanigans have been happening. It's stuff that shouldn't have happened. But the Mutas find a way through the sensor towers. That does feel... Oh my god, so many missile towers there. Yeah, these Mutas cannot really find that much damage. Time has been extra careful around these Mutas for this game. Changeling dropped down on the watchtower, granting control to the Zerg player who's still looking for damage. He finds a way into this refinery. which is honestly more than I was expecting. But now that Taurs are out, these mutas definitely didn't find the value that Rogue was looking for. Yes, they got map control, which was important for Rogue to ensure he's gonna take a 5th base and have a powerful economy that leads him to Hive Tech. And as you can see right now, yes, he will kill this Missile Tower. He won't even kill that. There's one tower in position, and right now Time is steaming through a choke point. That might be deadly. Banelings are not really getting through. The Widowmines drop down the shots though. The spreads are amazing by Time, who keeps most of his units alive. More Banelings are looking for a surround. Focus Fire also was kind of perfect for the Terran player, who's now moving out. There are the mutas. They're looking for the surround over here on the top side, but most of the army of Time is still alive. The economy of Rogue is incredible. +3/+3 incoming. Adrenaline Glance can also become a thing real quick. While over here, a single Medivac is trying to make something happen. Will fall down to the mutas. Time moving southmost right now to try at least, and take control of the golden base, the asymmetrical base. Let's check that his opponent is not doing anything in that location. Quick spread was spread over here, with Rogue actually not taking this base out of all. Of course, being so close to the other side of the map can be complicated to deal with, especially with a choke point that can be exploited better by the Terran player than it is by him. As we've seen Time spread against the Banelings in quite an amazing way, to be honest. One single Medivac will try to drop over here in the third base, but will be greeted by a Spore Crawler. Over here, the Steel of Widowmine ready to greet a couple Banelings and Zerglings once they kind of try to go for his round. But this Spore Crawler is actually going down. Probably Time will find a way into the third. Over here, a little bit of a counter-attack from Rogue. So many missile turrets are spread around, but nothing against the lanes. On this other side, it looks like Time is about to take control of the high ground. Banelings are gonna roll through. They're gonna take quite some decent connections, but not decent enough. Lots of Marauders tanking quite a good amount of shots. With Rogue still trying to set up a surround. He's gonna commit right here, right now. So many towers though. The lanes are not cracklings yet. They will still win the fight, but just barely. More Banelings are in the production for Rogue. Both the armies now looking that strong. More Banelings rolling through. This time the connections are good enough, and now the mutas can come for the cleanup. So many Medivacs are about to fall down. The Taurs do fall down as well. All of the Medivacs are gonna be destroyed one after the other, and Rogue finds the perfect fight he was looking for after Time overstays his welcome. Does kinda look like Time is easily recovered from his losses in army. He wasn't really on a expensive one. His production is pretty good, and Rogue didn't have the army to kind of push through, but now he has. Widowmines have been looking kind of good throughout the series, and this Widowmine gets a 25 kill shot. Ooh, that's a lot of kills. Not a lot of mutas are up in the skies, are their upgrades. Not good enough, just +1 flyers attack. Doesn't mean those mutas can easily take a fight head on. So for now, Rogue will be content with taking the golden base and trying to shock around for damage with these mutas. But yet again, they cannot really find too much. Time looking like he's pinned down in his 5 bases position a little bit too much. He cannot really expand in the pocket base due to his overseer being in position, and the mutas still shocking around looking for every single possible amount of damage they can get. And now that ultras are on the field, ghosts will start to become extremely valuable. Rogue kind of forfeiting the Hydra tech since it didn't work in the 2 games he used them. With now a bigger focus up in the skies. These are unupgraded mutas with just +1 flyers, so I don't really understand the call. Ultras can be as vulnerable as lurkers when it comes to the ghost, of course, but this is a much wider map. The Banelings will try to commit on top of the planetary fortress, and they will do so in style. One of the ultras will be sniped down, so will another. A little bit of a pinling trap over here, but 14 SCVs have been going down. It's not like a deadly amount of damage. Although will go down, missile turrets will be spread around left and right to stop these mutas from ever getting damage on top of the last base available to be got by time, who's now re-expanding over here. And as of now, 1550 minutes into the game, every single base has been taken. Are those 66 banelings? Those don't look like 66 banelings to me. I've seen this movie before, guys. I've seen this before. We all know what is about to happen. The banelings are just gonna roll through an endless stream and an endless Widowmine shot. Look at them go! Oh wow! That has to be the most satisfying Widowmine shot I've ever seen in my life. But there's still more banelings alive, and still more Widowmine shot to drop them down. The banelings are still rolling. Not enough Widowmine shots. Could you believe that? Rogue gets 14 SCVs and destroys the army of time. Once more, the Ultras will be sniped down, but 4 more are in production, and 22 more banelings are about to pop out. +2 flyer attack. It does look like Rogue is in the chat and is listening to me talk. Right now, with these Muta +2, he can start to become as oppressive as he can. This is going to be a planetary soon enough. Oh, you can see the Widowmine shot go through. These Widowmines, man. Oh, goodness. Another Widowmine over here will not be one shot and will get another shot. These Mutas are not having a good time. 3 Lings over here trying to do their best. Another Ling over here will get full scouting of what time is up to. This planetary is still being the most important piece of contention. Widowmine shots, not as good as they were before. The banelings are rolling through. These Widowmine shots have been kind of amazing this time. And the planetary fortress was there to help finish the job. 10 more mutas are incoming, as well as 60 Lings. Getting Rogue close to 200 supply yet again. He's not on a high amount of larva though. So these next round of units need to make something happen. These bases are most likely going to be sniped down. I don't really see these bases surviving whatsoever. The drones may survive, but the base definitely isn't. Another Widowmine shot will drop down quite a lot of these Lings. Yeah, these Widowmines have been absolutely outstanding. How many banelings died this game? 191. Oof. Rogue still producing banelings en masse. +3 flyer attack is about to pop out. You can see tons and tons of snipes going on top of these ultras, and they're pushing through. The banelings are detonating on everything they find, but still not finding enough. Another ultra goes down. How many ultras have died as well? 6, man. Time has been killing a lot of stuff, isn't he? But now these mutas are about to have +3. And it can become an incredibly powerful army component. And not just an harass cleanup component. 3 changelings will get a good glimpse of the Army of Time, while Rogue is trying to retake the golden base. Such a close and tense game. Rogue was looking much more ahead than he actually is. Oh yeah, these Widowmines are gonna completely annihilate these Ultras before they make anything happen. 3 Ultras basically walk to their death. And now it's starting to look like Rogue is just losing a little bit too much stuff without making something happen. These might be the chance that Time was looking for to get the equalizer. He has a lot of ghosts. And ghosts are not exactly balanced units. They're pretty good. The Snipes is on cooldown though, and the banelings are rolling through into a choke point. The mutas do not have +3/+3 yet. The Banelings will decide not to fight against the Widow Mines this time. 11 more mutas are in the makings. And with +3 they can become incredibly important, incredibly huge, especially if you can dodge around the Widow Mines. Drones will be saved yet again. Once more, the archery in the Golden Base will go down. This has turned to be the most important point of contention. To the surprise of no one, 11 more mutas are incoming. +3 is so close to be finished. Widow Mine still dropping down. Crazy good shot. The sensor tower is going down. These mutas are about to eat like a truck. The Ghost will drop down as Knights, which will be cancelled. Losing sight of the mutas. And now Time wants to drop down his command center. The mutas are waiting for +3/+3 and they're gonna commit on this. They're not gonna kill this fast enough though. The Army of Time is already there and so many missile turrets are about to be popped down in this location as well. Many Banelings are being made over here, but Banelings are instead gonna roll over here. 24 SCVs down the sink. And Rogue finds yet another incredible piece of damage. Mutas with +3, they will make short work of those Widow Mines. They cannot really easily commit into anything. 8 drones have died somewhere. Lings are still going at it over here. They're gonna kill the missile turrets. They're gonna get on top of production. And once these missile turrets are down, it's free real estate for the mutas. As you can see, they're gonna find an easy way on top of the production. A couple of snipes will go on top of them, lowering their number. But these cracklings are making short work of whatever has been produced out of these facilities for a little while. Now Banelings and mutas alike dropping on top of everything. The mutas annihilating a clumped amount of units. There's one tower out, but it's gonna go down so fast to +3 mutas. Now on top of the production, and the production cannot really fight against those mutas fast enough. The rest of the Army of Time catching up and defending the production as best as they can, but Rogue find another time, another incredible piece of damage. Creek Spread still keeping track basically perfectly of whatever movements Time goes for. And now these Leans and Banelings will drop down on top of the planetary and destroy it, or maybe not. Barely saved. But the Army of Time coming in just at the right moment. Lots of Banelings again rolled down to their death without really accomplishing anything. But Rogue is ready to move out on the top right again with the mineral wall being down. This is a free red carpet into the production for the cracklings. You can see the mutas deciding to commit on top of this orbital command, getting the kill. But it's the cracklings, the endless river. Look at them go. This blue stream of units ready to get into the main of Time at any moment's notice. 9 more SCVs down. Time, half the workers of his opponent has been replacing the lost supply just with army. His army is looking amazing. But this Army of Rogue is so mobile. And yet again, trying to get on top of the production. If these production facilities go down, it's gonna be hell for Time to actually recover. Lots of Leans are just gonna basically stream down the Mick Grinder. Over here, missile turrets are going up to stop the mutas from getting the kill on top of this base. So many Ghost, Widow Mines and Marines are stationed as well as a single Tor. You can see the mutas sharking around looking for units that are trying to get between the bases. So Time is basically stranded over here on the right side until he moves out. Rogue is still a little bit too scared to fight that army onwards. Incredible game number 6 so far. Rogue still looking for a way into this planetary. Oh, this time he has a lot more Banelings, which are trying to look for the army. I don't know about that. The army will cut backwards, and these Banelings were availed to nothing. Yet again, 50 more lanes are in the production for Rogue. But what does he have to work with? All he has is this base over here. He's not mining from much else. He could take this base, I guess. But yeah, the resources are about to finish for him. Time still has quite a lot to work with, while Rogue really doesn't. Rogue is losing SCVs and basically sending them to their death, I think, because he doesn't really need them anymore. Now he needs to work with what he has, and what he has is not much. Yeah, you can see his production being absolutely empty. And yeah, this is the whole amount of his income. Yes, his golden base is about to be finished. Oh, but there's so much Vespin in here. I don't know about that. There's so much Vespin in here as well. These two Vespin geysers are completely untouched. And there's still a base to be taken over here. Tommy is gonna retake control. Time was on 3 bases. Rogue is barely on 1. I don't know about that, guys. I feel like Rogue has 4 Vespin geysers against the 6 of time. He has, how many mineral patches he has? He has 5, 6 mineral patches total against 3 golden patches over here. 5 standard patches over here, and I feel like it's 8 here. Yes, it's full 8 patches here. Yeah, Time is gonna have so much more money than Rogue. Rogue has been constantly wasting money trying to make something happen. His mainly mine is looking interesting, but +2 flyer carapace, but yeah, these ghosts are starting to get a little bit too much value. Rogue is in a little bit of an awkward spot. He doesn't want to lose army because he knows he wants to have just a big fight that is close to perfection for him. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Oh my goodness. So many mutas go down. So many more are just barely alive. SCVs run into the death, trying to be some cheeky little thief, but they will not avail to anything. So many ghosts are stranded over here though. The mutas are not healed yet, but the ghosts will drop down at a moment's notice. The rest of the army of time is basically stranded on this side. Rogue might have found the decisive maneuver he was looking for. The Taurs are a little bit stuck between a rock and a hard place. They cannot commit left, they cannot commit right, they cannot do anything. There's so many Banelings, so many leans. The Banelings will roll through trying to get connections on top of the army of time. Rogue might have over-invested into this though, with so many Taurs still being alive. He needs to keep much of his army up and running. 5 more Banelings in production as well as 2 mutas. The ghosts are back into production as well. Rogue is streamlining through these. The Widowmine shots, again, pretty much perfect. These might be do or die, and the Widowmine shots spell death to Rogue army. Now the mutas will try to come in for the cleanup, but there's no cleanup to be made. Time ties up the score, gets to the equalizer. It brings us game number 7. Here, in the top right hand corner, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, is the Blueser player, Rogue. In the bottom left-hand corner instead, playing for Kaizi Gaming, looking for the double up punch and try to sneak out a victory in the best of 7. Give it up for Time. Alright, the quick I want to talk about is this weird ramp connecting this base and this base. So you basically need to either cover over here or cover over here. You cannot really do both because the entrance to your naturals are very easy if you decide to not cover this location, while otherwise to your third there's 3 entry locations if you don't cover the ramp. So it's a map that has very difficult choices. That's how I feel about this. Also, distance between natural, like main base, natural, and third is absolutely humongous. They're incredibly far. Like, you can see this natural being like 2 screens away from the main, which is quite a lot. Also, the main is very big. The natural is, of course, also very big. If this natural was a main base on some maps, it wouldn't be too surprised, really. So lots of very peculiar quirks. Walking through the middle, you need to walk through bridges that have quite a couple interesting spots. These rocks also are very interesting. This ramp is a huge point of contention in the later stages of the game, as well as this one, which is a little bit easier to control due to the side blockers being over here and these choke points being very complicated to work through. So many rallies for time. One single drone will drop down an extractor trick and stay alive. Dance with the lanes will begin. And of course, now that the queen is out, the dance is over. Usual stuff. Queen getting into business too, trying to drop down Crypt Teamers on the low ground, but the fair base is halfway through for Rogue. We see the first Roach play out of the Dragon Phoenix Gaming player. Still on just one guess, not really getting much more out of this. Soon to be free, most likely. To start getting Roaches out. I do feel like Roaches can work fine. There's quite a lot of choke points, so Biles can be good. Yeah, decent way to deal with tanks due to how far away are some places from melee unit standpoint, but easily accessible with Biles. Like for example, I was talking about this entry point, and sometimes walking through here can be difficult, but with Biles you can stop tanks from sieging in these dirty locations. Same can be said for these natural over here and here. 8 Roaches in a production tab, quite a lot. Still a couple of drones are gonna be produced, so I don't feel like Rogue is all in. Still gonna be a very powerful timing. Is almost for sure. I don't really feel like these are just defensive Roaches. They could be, but I'm not sure about it. I do feel like these Roaches want to walk through the map. We'll get on top of the aliens, force them backwards, and I will try to walk through and reach the natural off time that has already 2 bunkers in the making. It's only 8 Roaches, it's not a huge commitment. Just a small way to get some pressure going. The lair is incoming as well. We don't see Ravagers. We just see Rogue trying to slow down time from getting natural. Yes, a lot of SCVs are going to be pulled into this fight just for 8 Roaches. I don't really know about that. Roaches are not going down that fast though. Bunkers are up, but so many aliens are gonna fall down and so many SCVs can fall down as well. It's just the Reapers and the aliens right now. These Roaches are not that healthy. The Marines will make short work of them right now. But these has been quite a good trade overall for Rogue. He killed quite a lot of stuff. He has double Evo Chamber incoming. He has his lair up and running. The 2 bunkers are gonna be salvaged. But in the end, I just want to take a look at the units lost tab. This was overall kind of decent. Yet Roaches did delay a lot for time who needed to commit for the defense, and they still ended up trading evenly, which is honestly more than I was imagining. Decent play by Rogue, who's now dropping down his 4th base as his lair up, metabolic boost up and incoming, and he's gonna go into +1 missile attack and Carapace, of course. So I'm unsure if this is going to be Roach, Ravager, Ling, and Bane. We do see Galarian Reconstitution, so it is going to be to some extent some Roach play. But I would have loved to see instead a Hydra then being dropped down and then go just into standard play, since that Roach Warren did basically what it had to do. But Rook will decide to instead commit a little bit more into Roach play, taking a page out of the book of Su. He's showing us his Roach play, the last possible game of this series. The Arthos Loop. Trying to run away. Demo Roach is incoming. Not a lot of drones in the production yet again. Rogue sitting on 66. The good old sweet spot of Zerg. Now that he has his 3 most important upgrades. Halfway through. He's definitely gonna look for a big fight head-on, since Roaches will not really scale into the later stages of the game. And this is basically the only moment in which time will not have a lot of counters to those Roaches in the form of tanks or Liberators as well. will get a good scouting. First tank is out. And time can be a little bit at ease. But these roaches cannot really do too much right now. Still, I do say that. But there's 18 roaches in the production tab and 6 Ravagers are incoming. The army supply of Rogue might be inflated, but it's still absolutely huge. +1/+1 is about to be finished. +1/+1 was just finished for time. Was now getting +2/+2. And the roaches are making their move. Actually trying to get a sandwich. A quick collect by these Medivacs will save the lives of these Marines. As you can see, the Lings trying to go for the surround alongside quite some roaches, dropping down the perfect surround on the Army of Time. What an amazing play from the Zer player, forcing the pull by the boys. But I don't see these boys winning the fight. So many of those are going down, and the Army of Time is retreating back into the natural. We do see this command center being biled down and killed by roaches. Oh, it's still alive, but you get what I mean. His other orbital command is in a very bad spot. The Overseer is in position to allow the Ravagers to drop down the piles into the main, into the natural, of time. 27 workers have gone down. Rogue is about to be maxed out, just out of roaches and lings. The good old roach lean bane timing attack without banelings this time. The roaches roll through, the supply depots are down. The boys are to be pulled again, but the piles do not forgive, and Rogue will take the series.